Awkward moment when I recognized one of the valets dude used to work at Uncle Leo's. Crystal chandeliers, and enough crystal chandeliers to blind a small army. I felt out of place the second I walked in, but I was trying to play it cool. That's when Liam freaking Sterling III made his grand entrance. This jerk pulls up in a brand new Porsche GT3 RS, the exact model I'd been working on all week, except his was fresh off the showroom floor, probably never even seen a speck of dust. He walks in wearing what I later found out was a $12,000 suit. Yeah, I looked it up after. Some ridiculously fancy watch that probably cost more than my yearly income, and that typical trust fund baby haircut that screams, my daddy's lawyers have lawyers. Here's the real thing. Turns out, his family owned Sterling Luxury Automobiles. This chain of high-end dealerships across 3 states. The same dealerships that would sometimes send us problem cars they couldn't fix. The irony was unbelievably painful. Ilara's mom practically sprinted across the room to greet him. Liam, darling, we didn't know you'd be here. Total nonsense. Found out later they'd specifically invited him. Next thing I know, they're steering Ilara towards him, making sure they're seated together at dinner. During dinner, I had to sit there and listen to this guy brag about his latest business ventures. All funded by daddy's money, of course. Just acquired a new dealership in Chicago, he says, swirling his $1,000 wine like he's in some fancy commercial, planning to expand into the exotic car market. It's really about understanding the luxury consumer mindset. I almost choked on my weird tiny portion of whatever French dish they were serving. This guy wouldn't know real car work if it bit him on his designer-clad backside, but every time he opened his mouth, Ilara's parents were practically drooling. Her dad kept saying stuff like, that's the kind of forward thinking the industry needs, and you really understand the business side of things. The whole time I noticed Ilara getting quieter and quieter. Usually she'd jump in, talk about some of the custom work I'd done, how I was planning to open my own shop, but that night, nothing. Just sat there nodding and laughing at Liam's terrible jokes about people who still buy American cars. That hurt more than any of the subtle digs about my background. After dinner, they had dancing. I'm not much of a dancer unless you count the victory dance I do after successfully rebuilding a transmission, but I was trying. Then Liam cuts in all smooth with his ballroom dancing skills probably learned at some fancy prep school. Ilara didn't even look back at me. The rest of the night was torture. Had to watch them dancing, talking, laughing. Her mom kept hovering around them, taking pictures, making comments about what a handsome couple they made. Meanwhile, I'm standing by the bar, drowning my frustration in an overpriced drink that I couldn't really appreciate anyway. On the drive home, Ilara was different. Quiet. When I tried to joke about Liam being a walking stereotype, she didn't laugh like she usually would. Instead, she got defensive. He's actually really smart about the industry, she said. Maybe you could learn something about the business side from him. That's when I knew deep down. I think I knew right then that we were done. But like an idiot, I ignored it. Kept telling myself she was just impressed by the fancy party, that things would go back to normal once we were back in our regular routine. Over the next few weeks, Ilara started getting more involved with her family's social circle. Suddenly, she was too busy to hang out at the shop. Always had some charity event or social function to attend, and somehow Liam was always there too. Just coincidence, she'd say. Yeah, right. The final straw? Found out she'd been having business lunches with Liam to discuss investment opportunities for my future shop. Apparently, he was interested in backing local talent. Sure, backing me right out of my relationship. It was a Tuesday when my life imploded. I remember because I just finished a complex transmission rebuild on a client's Mercedes AMG GT. I was feeling pretty good about myself. Had grease all over my hands, but a fat check in my pocket. The kind of day that usually meant a celebration beer with the guys at the shop. Then Ilara texts, "Can we talk? I'll come by your place after work." Anyone who's ever gotten that text knows exactly what it means. But stupid me, I actually thought maybe she wanted to apologize for being distant lately. Rushed home, took the fastest shower of my life, even cleaned up my small apartment above the shop. It wasn't much, but it was mine. Paid for with honest work and long hours. She shows up looking like she stepped out of a magazine. Designer everything. Hair done perfectly. Not a single thing out of place. Meanwhile, my hands still had motor oil under the nails that wouldn't come out no matter how hard I scrubbed. The contrast hit different that day. "I think we need to take a break," she starts. Classic opener, right? But then comes the real gut punch. I've been doing